Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. This is just my presentation about my internship this summer. I decided to go to Bonaventure of Pueblo at Park West. If you are driving along Highway 50, I'm sure you've seen it. It's huge. You can't miss it, but I'm sure you just never thought it would have been an assisted living community. So this is where I decided to do my internship this summer, and let's dive right in. So first you have a little bit about me and my experience. I am a CNA and a QMAP. So basically I'm qualified to pass pills like topicals, eye drops, all those kind of things under the supervision of a nurse. So that's that. I think it's pretty cool. I've worked in senior living communities for about 5 years, and again, this summer I've decided to go to Bonaventure of Pueblo at Park West. So, and then I just put a little picture about like some CNA responsibilities. So it's like changing residents, making sure they're like housekeeping things, vitals. A CNA in a hospital, they might not let you pass pills, but just in my case, they do let me pass pills as well. Moving on, a few goals of the facility is, you know, it can be a really scary thing to put your loved one into a senior living community. So, with that, we really strive to make it like a home away from home. So, one of their goals, one of their mottos, missions is it isn't complicated. You enjoy the best parts of senior living while we take care of the rest. And it's exactly what it sounds like. You come in and we're like, okay, we'll take over all the hard things. You just get into your room, move in, have a good time. Obviously, it's resident care, resident satisfaction, meeting the needs of every resident. We have different care levels of different residents, so you could come in and need total care, or you could come in and need basically just a place to live and us to help you do your medications for you. And then, of course, like the camaraderie with the staff. Obviously, you're going to run into some people who you just don't mesh with, but for the most part, I've had a really good experience with the rest of my coworkers. Moving on to some organization of the facility. So you have top. My boss's boss is the executive director. She's in the building all the time. Super cool. If you have any questions or comments, she's always open and able to like talk, whatever. Then you have under her, it's her assistant executive directors. They just work together and they help each other figure things out. They call people, do all the things that an executive director would do. Then you have the director of nursing, basically the nurse. I don't know if she's considered the director of nursing, but she is one of our nurses, and she helps with all the care things, all the med things, all the emergency things, all the things that would help with the nursing aspect of living in an assisted living community. So then under that, you have the resident care coordinators. So you have one for assisted living and you have one for memory care. Basically, they're just like the direct managers for the staff in those departments. So they are the direct managers for those staff members that are working. Like, for instance, I work in memory care, so I have a direct manager who I can call if there's like staffing shortages, if I have a problem, if I have a question, all that kind of stuff. And they have the same type of thing for assisted living as well. Then you have like kind of on the side of that, resident care coordinators aren't above it, but they're kind of to the side of it, are like the maintenance directors, activity directors. Same thing, they have a team of a few people with them. They help with scheduling their staff, with directing activities, directing the maintenance situations. Yeah, so basically just the managers of each department. Then under that you have the QMAPs, which if one of the directors aren't on the floor that day, it would be the QMAP's responsibility to kind of figure everything out or make the calls to the directors to be able to figure things out, like with staffing, for instance. So then under the QMAPs, you have the caregivers. And this is not to say at all that anybody is above anybody, because we always try and work as a team. So then just some more organization of the facility. Just within the facility, we have assisted living, independent living, and memory care. So just kind of going beyond that, you have the independent living. Like I said, you basically just need an apartment. You don't need any help with care. You don't need any help with your meds. You're pretty much good. You just kind of need a place to stay. Then you have assisted living, which can kind of vary. You can go from like needing more care and meds, or you can go to being more independent but also needing med management. So then kind of to the side of that as well, you have memory care, which is same type of, it's more care definitely, but it's dementia. So that comes with a whole bunch of other situations. So then kind of under that you have skilled care. We don't have skilled care in our facility. I'm just using it for, just kind of mentioning it for the fact to just kind of create like a pyramid. So then you have skilled care, which is going to be like total care, like can't get out of bed type of care. Then you have hospice care, and obviously that's like you have 90 days. They give you like a 90 days to live type of things, and they just make you comfortable. Then you have rehab centers. Of course, there's like a ton more under that, but I just wanted to put like the main few. But then you have rehab centers that specialize in just they have a resident has a fall, and they specialize in helping that resident gain their strength and come back to us so that we can be able to take good care of them and that they can be able to live the rest of their life comfortably. So we have a lot of different residents with a lot of different backgrounds. Like I said, I have poets, I have blues singers, opera singers, teachers, nurses, pilots, you name it, and somebody has done it. Like I have a professional football player. It's nuts. Everybody has their own story, and it's just so amazing to learn everybody's stories. But Bonaventure does strive to actually be one of the more higher end senior living communities in the area. Obviously, I haven't worked in the other communities in the area, but I do feel like that's pretty true. Just only depending on the type of care that they're receiving, I feel like it's one of the more higher end communities in the area, definitely. And of course, there are a lot of different senior care communities in the area as well for different things. Like I said, rehab centers, skilled nursing, just depending on the type of care that your loved one might need. So moving on, my project, I couldn't show pictures of my actual project, of what I was doing, because there were names and numbers and pictures of residents, and I just couldn't do it. It was just a whole HIPAA violation. So I just thought I would explain it instead of showing pictures. So basically my project I helped with the nursing staff and with my director. I helped them with the laundry, shower, and housekeeping schedule, specifically for in-memory care. So what we decided, because the whole list was just jumbled. It was a jumbled mess. I mean, you would look at it and be like, I'm dizzy because I can't even read what this is trying to tell me. Like, what kind of laundry, showers, housekeeping am I supposed to do today? So basically what I wanted to do is be able to give something for the staff and for the residents too. I mean, it's memory care. They may not know 100% what the heck is going on all the time, but they do know when they're supposed to have their laundry done. Funny enough, they do know when they're supposed to have their laundry done. So basically I just wanted something for the residents and for the staff to be able to look at and be like, okay, that's when my laundry day is, or okay, that's when my shower day is supposed to be. So what we decided was that the residents were going to be on 3 times a week: laundry, shower, and housekeeping. So like the same residents for the morning shift, the same residents for the evening shift. Basically it's split up into 2 hallways. So morning shift would take one hallway and the evening shift would take the other day. But then split that up and have everybody on their shower, laundry, housekeeping schedules for 3 days a week. So that way if one day a resident refused their shower, one day if a resident didn't have laundry, it would be okay because it would just kind of roll over into, it'd be just the next couple days and that they would have a shower done, or that they would have their laundry, housekeeping done. Because you never can tell, especially in memory care, how the day is going to go. You walk in and it's all rainbows, and the next day it's just a mess. So you really never know. So this way I wanted to be able to help everybody and be able to help the residents and help the resident family members, because they come in and their family members hadn't been showered in a week and they're really upset. So with this, I was hoping that it would really help cut back on that frustration between the staff and family members. So moving on, we're kind of wrapping up here, but health science theories put into place. Obviously, just want a safe, fun, and healthy environment, and creating that type of environment for your loved ones. Because like I said, it can be really scary or just really daunting, the thought of having to put your person in a senior care facility. Never had to do it myself, but I can understand how it'd be really, really upsetting to have to do that. So really just opening our hearts, opening our hands, and being like, we are here for you. And that goes for residents, other staff members that it might be upsetting for, hospice companies that come in, just creating a warm and open environment for everybody to be able to come in and be themselves. But then moving on, what would I change? So my experience with this community is that the dining services need some help, and that's okay. It's not a very new facility, but it's in kind of new management, so just working out some things here and there, and that's okay. But yeah, what would I change? The dining services, specifically in memory care, there's a lot of choking hazards, so we have to have a lot of finger foods. But I found that there were a lot of finger foods every day, and it seemed like they were getting served the same meals every single day. So I would like to help with the dining services team and be like, hey, what kind of other finger foods? Like, I understand maybe finger foods for memory care is important, but also maybe what other kind of finger foods would be appetizing to them and nutritious and filling and all these things, but also not boring, not the same fish sticks every single day. Because in assisted living and independent living, they have the same type, they have spaghetti, they have tacos, they have, the same maybe 4 or 5 meals that they just rotate weekly. And I can see how that might get a little bit old too. So maybe taking some advice from the residents themselves, what they like, what they don't like, and be like, okay, let's come together and see if we can come up with a menu for everybody that would be delicious, nutritious, and filling, and make everybody happy. Okay, so moving on into how the facility kind of evaluates its own performance. So first is like state surveys. The state will come in and just kind of check it out, see what our med carts look like, see how we're serving meals, how we're providing care for these residents, all the things. And then they'll go back to the management team and kind of just put their heads together and be like, okay, how can we fix this? Or like, okay, here's a fine. We don't like this, so now you need to change it so that in a few weeks, when we come back, it can be better. So that's state surveys. Resident council, of course, they have like a meeting with all the residents or the residents that can make it, and just be like, hey, how do you guys feel? How do you guys feel about care? How do you feel about the dining room? How do you feel about the activities? How do you guys feel? I personally haven't been witness to any of these resident council meetings. I would love to be, because I feel like we could get a lot of really good feedback from the residents. And then, of course, daily staff meetings with the management team. They just kind of, again, go through like what we're doing, what we can do better, what we're not doing, all the things. Probably budgeting things. Again, I haven't really been witness to any of those meetings either, but I can only assume that it's just like what's going wrong, what's going right, what can we do better. So just in conclusion, I've had a really fun, exciting summer, made some good relationships with my residents, with the family members, with management, with staff members. I just think overall I've really made a mark on this community. So that concludes my presentation, and I hope you guys enjoyed.